Coming up on Business Live, government indicates preparedness to accept any new cut-off date for restructuring Ghana's debts as it races to secure a new deal with the creditor committee this week.
Hope that, by the end of next week, we'll have what we need so that the fund board can sit.
Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahini advises Bank of Ghana to go to Parliament to seek for recapitalization to recover from the impact of the domestic debt exchange program.
What I believe is that in the course of the year or years to come, they may have to go to the Parliament to seek approval for recapitalization. That is the only way. That is the only medium and long term.
Plus, financial economist Professor Lord Mensah predicts interest rates will not go down since we are getting into an election year.
The budget that government read for 2024 indicate that government is going to borrow about 61 billion from the domestic market because external financial resources are blocked.
Details of these and many others coming your way all in a moment. Please stay. Thanks so much for staying with us. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Straight to our very first story. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has indicated that Ghana is open to any new cut-off date that external creditors may propose on restructuring of the country's debt. China is pushing for December 2020 as the cut-off date instead of the December 2022. This has delayed the International Monetary Fund's board meeting on Ghana and the $600 million disbursement. The Finance Minister is hopeful about a new deal being reached this week.
Well incorporated in there. Certainly for those, for us, we can manage, either way. So the issue is for the membership of the OCC to get comfortable with how it impacts them. The DSA is always an issue where anybody can raise the issues of the projections of foreign exchange going forward. You can raise issues on the variable of the GDP. You can raise issues on inflation. So that's not new with any formula that you have. The question is to come to an accommodation of what you all believe will be fairly reflective of the future. I hope that, by the end of next week, we'll have what we need so that the fund board can sit. Everybody is looking at comparability of treatment in there, and China and France certainly are co-chairs, so they have a good impact on what will happen. But we should be okay.
All right, so let's have a discussion on the back of these assertions by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Joining us via Zoom, a senior finance lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Seram Kawo. Seram, thanks so much for joining me on Business Live. First off, do you think that this statement or admission by the Finance Minister shows the frustration the country has gone through in restructuring its external debt, which China hence is ready to accept any difficult terms that it may bring along?
Yeah, thank you very much. This particular confession, let me say it that way, really shows that we are really frustrated on the way forward. It is an admission that the country has not been able to put in enough measures to ensure that this particular negotiation should be concluded positively in the interest of the country. It also shows us that the finance ministry is going through a lot, and looking at the macroeconomic situations in our country is going to make it very difficult for us to get that particular negotiation. And so as we speak, we are at the mercy of the external creditors to put their terms on board, and then the country may not have any option than to accept what they have said so that we'll be able to get the next tranche of the bailout agreement.
Interesting. Help me understand where we went wrong in terms of the bottlenecks you've highlighted. Why did we even get there in the first place? Because we were thinking right after the domestic debt exchange program, things will be in place to ensure that we have the rosy, take with the external creditors as well.
You say we had our way with the domestic debt holders. And so we were able to bulldoze our way through that particular process. And once
Rather unfortunate, we've lost Seram Kawo, who was making a point on the back of the restructuring of the external debt, external credit restructuring. We shall get in touch to Seram Kawo to speak to us on that. But let's quickly do the story as we await Seram to join us. A financial economist, Professor Lord Benson, is predicting interest rates will not go down anytime soon as the country inches closer to 2024 election year. According to him, government is expected to borrow 61 billion cedis next year from the domestic market since Ghana has lost credibility on the international market. The government borrowed 15.32 billion cedis in treasury bills in November to cover matured bills worth 10.60 billion cedis. Professor Mensah tells Joy Business interest rates on T-bills will continue to dwindle as a result of the development.
We went into the debt exchange with, certain objectives. I mean, one of them is to bring interest rate down, and then the other is to reduce, debt burden on the government's, balance sheet, or the sovereign balance sheet, let me put it that way. As we speak now, interest rate in the short term is not able to come down because of government demand, on the market as far as funds are concerned. And, there's no lucrative business in this country compared to, investing in treasury bills, which is hovering around 33-point-something%. I mean, talking about the 1 year, which you scale down to the short term, 91-day, hovering around 29%. So clearly, it tells you that, yes, indeed, money only flows, to and fro from, government machinery, to, businesses. And I can tell you that, businesses are getting crippled. Interest rate structures are not coming down. And I don't know how long we're going to stay in this, because clearly the budget that government read for 2024 indicate that government is going to borrow about 61 billion from the domestic market, because external financial resources are blocked now as we speak, because we've lost international, credibility, since we were, banned from the Eurobond market. So clearly, and the budget makes it clear that the financing is going to be on the domestic market, and it's through treasury bills. And because of this, I believe interest rate is not going to come down.
All right, so thankfully, I'm told Seram Kawo is back on the line to engage us more on the subject matter we are just talking about, which has to do with the external debt restructuring. And Seram, thanks for joining me once again. You were making a point as to why or how we got our way easily with the domestic investors, and we are struggling to get the buy-in of external creditors.
So, as I was saying, we've been able to get our way with the domestic creditors or debtors, and then we were not able to do that with the external creditors. What is going to happen is that with the external creditors, there is going to be some conditions that they will have to lay, and we will have to respect those conditions in terms of the way we're supposed to pay. For now, we are not servicing those debts. We are not paying the interest. They are all on hold. And so they're all going to factor in those factors to ensure that we are able to pay their money to them, and they will have favorable conditions. We're thinking that the domestic market is available for us, and for that matter, we still borrow from the domestic market and go to other bilateral creditors and other third parties to borrow from them will make things very difficult for us.
Again, there are some who say that there is still room to negotiate for a better restructuring deal. Really, does it look possible?
You see, it's looking gloomy each and every time that we are dealing with our external creditors. Just recently, we heard about the elections that have been held in by the ruling government, and it came out with the monies that they are distributing here and there. We have issues about corruption, which have not been properly addressed. The special prosecutor is talking about corruption and the way the legal system is not dealing with them. We might overlook some of these things, but they are all part of the situation that we are facing. We shouldn't assume that they are external creditors, and for that matter, they may not know what is happening in our country. They are here and they get information, and this information, they're going to use it against us. So it's not going to be very easy. At one point in time, we will have to kowtow to the wishes of the external creditors for our country to move forward.
And Mr. Kawa, what, in your opinion, is the worst case scenario for Ghana?
The worst case scenario will be that the debt might be restructured a longer term, but the interest rate might not be so much reduced as we have found in the domestic market.
That then means that the timeline given by the finance minister is not feasible, looking at this week.
I am not sure it is feasible. If we are supposed to do these things by the first week of November, and we've not done it, and they've been telling us next week we'll have it, next week we'll have it, we might not meet that particular deadline. We may be able to go to next year.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much, Sariam Kawa, for your time here on Business Life. He's a senior finance lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Now, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahine has advised the central bank to go to Parliament to seek for recapitalization to recover from the impact of the domestic debt exchange program. His comment follows assertions by Governor of the Bank of Ghana saying that the banking industry is stable, safe and sound despite significant domestic debt exchange related losses in 2022. Dr. Etuahine believes seeking recapitalization is the only way for profit retention in the industry.
From the first DDGP they did, the bank suffered so much. I remember the workings took us to 41.3 billion. Having they revise it from the 13.8 years to 8 years, they have reduced the losses to the banks. And the losses of the banks has now been shifted to Bank of Ghana. So Bank of Ghana has taken the chunk of the losses as against the banking sector. As to how he is going to retain it, if we look at the profitability record of Bank of Ghana over the years, it will take us a long time before we can come back to the position. What I believe is that in the course of the year or years to come, they may have to go to the Parliament to seek approval for recapitalization. That is the only way. That is the only medium and long term. But to look at the profitability retention, it will take a reasonable years, because if you're making 2 billion a year and you're making a loss of 60, it's going to take you quite a long time. The only thing they could do is to seek a recapitalization from the government through the Parliament so that they can recapitalize it. And when people say that the losses does not matter, yes, in policy decisions they will say so. But if you go to, I saw that the supervision, they won't have a problem. But when we go to the other functions, the lender of last resort or the emergency liquidity support and the other things that they have to do, even including monetary policy, if it is not done properly, it can also have an impact on a banking system.
More within the financial space, and financial sector players in the West African sub-region have been urged to embrace financial soundness indicators known as the FSIs as a way of combating risks of global trade tension which may threaten the soundness of financial institutions. Speaking to Joy Business at the opening of the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management YFM Regional Course on Financial Soundness Indicators, Director General of YFM Dr. Baba Musa said the course offers participants a unique opportunity to delve into the critical aspects of financial stability and resilience. Here's more. As part of efforts to enhance resilience of financial systems in the West African sub-region, the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management is holding a one-week training program for financial sector players within the sub-regional bloc on how to combat risks of global trade tension, which may threaten financial institutions. Speaking to Joy Business at the opening of the course on financial soundness indicators, Director General of YFM, Dr. Baba Musa, said it is important to enhance financial sector surveillance through financial soundness indicators.
FSI serve as a barometer to check the health of any financial system. So considering the trade tension and the economic situation in the global environment and within this sub-region, we felt that it is important to always check the financial system and ensure that they remain robust.
It tells Joy Business YFM will be tracking the progress of member countries with respect to financial soundness indicators in ensuring resilience and soundness within the financial landscape.
This is an annual event, and it is expected that annually countries will report on their financial situations, not only to the IMF but even our regional bodies, and every year we will need to monitor and look at the financial situation of or at least the financial vulnerabilities in each of our countries to ensure that our financial system remain very strong.
Delivering a speech on behalf of the governor, acting head financial stability at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Kwesi Osei-Yeboah, said he is optimistic the course will provide the right forum for exchange of ideas towards ensuring safer financial systems.
I therefore encourage you to engage actively, share experiences, and make your participation rewarding by taking every available opportunity to tap into the knowledge and experience of the excellent facilitators placed at your disposal.
The FSI serves as a crucial tool for assessing the health and stability of financial institutions by providing insights that are indispensable for informed decision making. For Joy Business, Pius Kujubaka. You're still watching Business Live. We've got more stories for you after this break. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. The significant growth in mobile money is not just limited to the value of transactions that reached more than 1 trillion cedis last year, but others as well. That's the opinion that one may form after going through the latest Bank of Ghana's payment systems and oversight report. George Yafe has the details.
2021 and 2022, all these other areas, apart from the value of mobile money transactions, also witnessed some substantial growth. This is despite the introduction of the electronic transaction levy, that is e-levy, and the aftershocks of COVID-19 on these transactions. This because it had been argued in the past that these developments will have negative impact on the service and transactions. However, data from the Bank of Ghana, which tracks payments over the past 5 years, showed that all these other areas were doing so well. For instance, when you look at the average transactions per day, it went up by more than 13% to hit 13 billion Ghana cedis. The report also revealed that over the past 5 years, the numbers were going up consistently. Again, active mobile money accounts went up by more than 13% to reach over 20 million ending October this year. In terms of the mobile money agents in the country, the Bank of Ghana puts the number at over 500,000 ending December 2022, representing more than 14% jump from 2021. Some mobile money might be the next growth pole area of the economy and an avenue that government can explore when it comes to improving financial inclusion in the country.
Players in the telecom industry have bemoaned delays in granting of license for the installation of telecommunication towers and other infrastructure. According to them, the bureaucratic clearances and delays on the part of regulatory agencies is greatly affecting the efficient delivery of voice and internet data services across the country. Speaking to Joy Business at the Ghana Telecoms Chambers Forum on Infrastructure, Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe called on the National Communications Authority to deploy technology to ease the process.
An internet penetration rate of about 68%, Ghana hopes to drive the growth of the economy through digitization. Infrastructure investment in internet reach and connectivity is critical to achieving this goal. Unfortunately, players in the telecommunications industry have expressed worry about what they describe as delays and extensive bureaucratic processes in securing licenses for the mounting of towers. Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe details their concerns at the Telecoms Chambers Forum on Infrastructure.
For any tower to go up, the aviation people, the authority in aviation would need to come in. So how do we all of us work together to ensure that currently we're doing about 7 months when a tower company, when an MNO says that give me a tower in this particular community, it takes up to 7 months. And by that time, most of you customers, the experiences you'll be having with your connectivity will not be the best. So one of the proposals and one of the ways to be able to do it is to have a one-stop shop, so that instead of the tower companies going from shop to shop from office to office to take their permits applications to, we can have a portal that they put the application on, and once the application goes on that particular portal, NCA would see it, EPA would see it, the assemblies, you can imagine the number of assemblies we have.
On expanding internet access and Ghana going 5G, Director General of NITA, Richard Otri-Fosu, noted that a comprehensive policy is being developed to ensure the seamless rollout of the 5th generation mobile network.
Sometimes you must crawl before you walk, right? And 5G requires a lot more. The speed of the technology is not 4G. It's nothing we've seen. So we are preparing towards it. It's just like AI. We have a strategy towards it. You must plan, you must consult, and then come up with a policy that will work for everybody. Otherwise, we will end up in the same situation. They'll say you didn't consult us. But 5G, we are looking at it, and the way we are even looking at it is that we will not issue the license out to individual MNOs.
Chief Executive of ATC Ghana, Ashutosh Singh, called for innovative ways to utilize existing towers and infrastructure to expand internet connection.
We'll have to rethink in terms of how do we utilize the existing infrastructure in terms of buildings, street poles. Those are some of the new innovations that will have to happen for 5G to succeed. Getting the network closer to the subscribers. It will be much more denser. I think there are a lot of policy changes required to do that. There's a lot of cooperation that will be required with the municipalities, other agencies, with out-of-home media companies, to see how we can actually make sure that infrastructure is ready for tomorrow's 5G deployment.
The forum was held on the theme, Fostering Partnerships for Growth in the Ghanaian Telecoms Industry.
Some hospitality centers are preparing to host this year's Christmas activities, including the annual Beyond the Return events organized by the Ghana Tourism Authority and other event organizations. General Manager of Kempinski Hotel Gold explains that despite having a challenging year, hotels have made provisions for visitors and holidaymakers. He was speaking after a tree lighting ceremony. Here's a report.
Ghanaian hotels have become key in government's quest to attract more visitors into the country during the Christmas holidays. After taking customers and selected guests through a tree lighting process at the Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel, General Manager of Kempinski, Hanno Bakov, declared the hotel support for the various holiday activities. He said Kempinski is ready as other hotels in the country.
Well, we certainly have prepared for that. We have a very nice program during the festive season, a lot of activities, beautiful food and beverage offers. We'll be having a kids club as well. We're just about to open our new bakery concept in the next couple of days, which will be coming soon, Café George. That's a cafe and bakery concept where we also invite the guests to come and, fantastic pastry and bakery products.
Speaking at the same event, Lebanese ambassador to Ghana, Maher Care, appealed for a collective effort in dealing with economic hardships in the society during the festive season.
In the spirit of togetherness, let us extend our thoughts and support to those facing hardships everywhere. By fostering compassion and understanding, we can collectively work towards a world where the lights of humanity shine, even in the most troubled corners.
The tree lighting ceremony falls in line with the hotel's move to improve relationship with guests during the festive season.
And that's it for Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. See you same time tomorrow. Bye.